So I do remember, Amit, many years back when I was talking to you, you were actually running organization where, while you were the CMO, you also called yourself a business head, right?
Yeah,
Because I think we have had conversations around, your manufacturing, timelines. We have talked about distribution challenges. Okay,
correct.
many things that we have spoken about. So I think you have played a role of not just a CMO, but you have played a role of actually owning a business vertical and running it. So how was the experience different? And therefore, if you were only a CMO, what are the points that you miss if you were running a business? And if you are running a business, what are the points that a business head fails to see from a CMO?
Okay, so very interesting, tricky question, Swami. So one thing which is very important when you actually see, I've always believed, and I've said, I am not a support function. I'm a business function that I've always believed, and that's what my conviction is. And there are a lot of data and stats which I've shown it to a lot of places. I have worked for organizations where you also have to appear for the board in terms of proving, and most of the board members will not agree in terms of how does market, and you need to literally work not only hard but also in terms of a lot of logics that you need to put with data. One thing which I have always learned from this thing is anything that has to have, and that's what I coined, and I use this word very smartly, is data driven operating marketing and data driven operating model. Very important. It's not about what I think, it's not about somebody else think. This is what the data on table. We may agree, we may disagree, we can dispute on that. That's perfectly fine in terms of one thing which normally doesn't happen, or largely happen in very small pieces, is primarily in terms of how you can have a meaningful conversation, rather than it is just between a marketing head or a CMO talking about, or somebody from a sales or a business talking about. I think that's what actually think most important thing between, and that's what I always call that my partnership and my running in with most of the sales head business have been very fantastic, because first question, that is, what is the problem that I can solve along with you? It is not that I want to run my marketing agenda, you have to run your business. No, that's the first thing. That what that changed the entire narrative, the way people look for that he is trying to help me in the goals that I am trying to, and that has to be the marketing goal today. When I say this, it is not about saying that marketing should not be a cost engine. A sentence or a statement will not make any difference. The difference is, can you able to deliver with that business? If the challenge of the business, let's say, is to grow by 25% year on year, or to be the number one or number two player in that category, you can't give him something, boss, I want to win the best awards in marketing. That conversation falls and fails there only. Now, the coming to the second part, Swami, that you talked about in terms of, if as a business head, what I actually, if I understood the right, is in terms of what I lack as a business head, or what I actually, from a marketing head, what I lack from a marketing head. I think one thing which few or the most of the business heads actually try to fill, because it's maybe because of the too many things on their plate and all, is in terms of seeing the big picture approach, that whatever you do in marketing today should not be very myopic to 4 or 5 or 6 weeks as a particular thing. Think from a larger thing. Think from always on that you can actually build, because brand is built 365 days. It's built 24 by 7. It's not about when you build and it's not about done through only advertising and campaign. Every particular touch point, either from a retail to a customer service to a reception to people interacting with that customer, it actually builds the entire thing, which I think is little myopic from, because they say, boss, my target is this quarter or this particular month, so don't give me something which I can look for 6 months. I think that's one thing we should look for it. When it comes from a marketing to look for it, and I would have also done, I would be very I would not be I think 100% if I say no. I Marketing also sometimes actually give it up after saying that, "Ki boss, end of the day, it's a business problem. Let them handle. Let's do what the problem it is." And I think I would, with all conviction, I would have also done in my. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in today's scenario. Which people which really doesn't want to look for it. Few minutes back, when I just talking about one particular term which I always believe is interdependability is very important. Whether it is business or marketing or business, silo working will actually, it will hamper you, it will hamper your function, it will hamper the business and overall the organization and the brand to look for. And that's something which would be very difficult if you don't manage. Then most of the time, you heard, I've seen in most, and specifically in a very high involvement consumer durables where I've actually worked, where half of the time of the discussion of the meeting only goes putting in terms of this, the numbers have not happened, the blame goes to whom. which will actually, because end of the day, this entire particular debate will not suffice anything. Neither the numbers will go up, neither objective. It's better to collaborate, it's better to actually understand the objective, and the last is to marry those objectives collectively. The objective has to be the business, the objective has to be marketing, but it's not uh, purposely different. Because I always believe in one philosophy which most of my particular seniors and bosses and professors told: marketing is not a function of or, it's a function of and. So it is has to plus, it has to add what you're actually trying to do in the entire spectrum.